There was ketchup dripping down the wall, and there's a shattered porcelain plate on the floor. The president was extremely angry and had thrown his lunch against the wall.
That was Cassidy Hutchinson testifying to the January 6th committee about the time when President Trump hurled his lunch at the wall in the White House. Now, Trump has denied that this ever happened, but since then, we have only gotten more evidence that suggests Mr. Trump has a tendency towards tantrums when he does not get his way. Today, Politico published an interview with Roberta Kaplan, one of the lawyers representing E. Jean Carroll in her defamation case against Trump. In that interview, Ms. Kaplan describes how Mr. Trump behaved during a deposition in one of her previous cases against him. She recalls, it was about 11:30 in the morning, and I said, "Sir, I have one more topic I want to cover, but is it okay after I cover that we break for lunch?" And then you can kind of see his brain working, and he says, "Well, you're here at Mar-a-Lago. What do you think you're going to do for lunch?" And I said, "Well, I've spoken to your lawyers about that issue, and they graciously offered to provide us with lunch." At which point, Trump took the pile of exhibits, which was probably a good 2 feet high, and just threw it across the table. These angry outbursts are now almost commonplace in the courtrooms of Trump's numerous trials, despite the fact that this is very unusual behavior, generally speaking. Trump's actions during E. Jean Carroll's defamation trial were so disruptive that the judge threatened to kick him out of court. Here's Judge Kaplan. "Mr. Trump, I hope I don't have to consider excluding you from the trial, or at least from the presence. I understand you're probably very eager for me to do that." Mr. Trump, "I would love it." Judge Kaplan, "I know you would. You just can't control yourself in these circumstances, apparently." By the end of that trial, Trump's tantrums were on full display for even the jury after he stood up and walked out of the room during closing arguments. In Trump's New York State civil fraud trial, Judge Arthur Engoron has repeatedly admonished Trump for these outbursts and for speaking out of turn and for throwing fits in the courtroom. Again, not the typical behavior of most people in a courtroom, and certainly not most defendants. Now, even if a lot of abnormal behavior is now pretty normal stuff at this point, pretty normal Trump stuff at this point, the angry freakouts seem to provide a window into Trump's psyche, into the way Donald Trump thinks about himself. Right now, we're awaiting a ruling from the D.C. Appeals Court over Trump's claim that he should have absolute immunity for anything he did or said as president. And that claim of immunity is more than just a legal defense. It would seem to be an almost explicit statement about how Trump thinks about his relationship to the rule of law, namely that he's not bound by it. He can do and say and throw whatever he wants, even ketchup. And while this has become sort of central to his legal defense, it is also a huge liability in a court of law. As E. Jean Carroll's lawyer, Roberta Kaplan, told Politico, our whole thesis was, this is someone who can't and won't follow the rules. So one would think that when you're in the courtroom with the jury acting like a bully and not following the courtroom rules as instructed by the judge, that would be a bad strategy. The single most important thing that convicted Donald Trump, both from his deposition and from the trial, is Donald Trump's own behavior. It's this concept that the rules that apply to everyone else don't apply to him.